Hello, hello. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello. Okay, we'll wait for a moment for the people to pop on. Say hi as you're hopping on. Let me know where you are calling in from or where you're watching from, I guess. For those of you hopping on Instagram, the topic of today's conversation is let's talk about God. I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on this born again ripple that's happening in the online space and talking a little bit about how I believe it's all elemental. Okay. Say hi as you're hopping on. Nobody's telling me. Where are you? Where in the world are you? Hey, Sonia. Okay. So, I've actually been contemplating coming on and doing this live for about a week. And no, that's not true. It's been a couple of weeks actually. And I just, like there was a big part of me that was like, yeah, I want to speak on this. And then I was kind of like, well, maybe I don't fully want to speak on this yet. Hey, New Zealand, Perth. Yeah, I guess it's that time of day, right? Some of the U.S. people are winding down their days, and some of them in bed, and so now the audience is mostly people here in my part of the world. Yeah, so it's been really, really interesting and fascinating for me to watch this ripple of, um, people choosing to opt into the born again. Yeah, I'm trying to choose my words pretty carefully here, so I'll get over that in a minute. But there's obviously a big ripple of um, people choosing to become born again, and I want to riff on it a little bit because from time to time I've been around in the online space for many years, and I do see these return to God or Jesus or Christ ripples happening every couple of years. This one I think has been really, really fascinating and interesting because it's happening on the tail of the collective consciousness, being thrown into a huge state of uncertainty. And so it's the new age agenda, Jackie says. Yes. So it's not new, this return to Christ or return to God or return to Jesus. ripple. Like, I do see this coming through the online space every couple of years. And, you know, my personal take on it is that it's all elemental, and it has to do with elemental imbalance. So I'm going to talk about that later. But I do want to just riff on it and talk about it for a minute. And I read a post that Dane Thomas did that was really, really, I felt really well written, and touched on, you know, a lot of it. My belief system is very similar to his, and how he addressed it. So definitely, like, this post, I think it was from April 4th on Dane's page. So definitely go check that out if you haven't already. I know it was on Facebook. I'm not sure if he posted it on Instagram or not, but definitely he posted on Facebook. So I think the difference, like what we're seeing right now that's different than what I've seen in previous years, is that it's not just a return to Christ, or it's not just a return to God, or it's not just a return to, you know, even fundamental religion. It's more than that. It's more extreme this round. And I believe that is because of the extreme nature of what humanity's been going through over the last 2 years. I think that many people are feeling lost. I think many people are frustrated. I think many people are losing faith in humanity. And when we lose faith in humanity, what do? Well, we reach for answers or information from the heavens. And for many of us, especially when we feel that our foundation has been, you know, I mean, for some of us, I feel like our foundation's been cracked. I feel like other people feel like their foundation has been entirely ripped out from under them. And so when we feel like that, you know, it's difficult to continue on in day-to-day life having faith and belief in things that are being shown to us that are not trustworthy and are not going to be able to help us remain calm and grounded and centered and stable. And so we do, you know, reach and seek answers from the heavens. And I think that's a totally normal thing to do. And, you know, regardless of what you call that, God, source, universe, all that is, whatever it is, right? Like, we are, the nature of who we are as beings on this planet is that, you know, we have two sides to us. We have this very human side, and we have the divine side. So, and that divinity in us, when discouraged by our humanity, immediately goes to, well, this is where, you know, I will now reach for the heavens. I will now reach for answers in that place, because that's, you know, that's the other foundational piece of who we are as beings. So I think it's natural that it's happening. I think that the extreme nature of it has to do with the extreme nature of what we've been experiencing the last couple of years. And I think that is dangerous. Like, the piece for me around all of this that has been a little bit disturbing is that not only are we just, because everybody's going to go through ebbs and flows. And personally, like, I have a deep connection to Christ consciousness, the energy of Christ, not necessarily the person Christ. Like, I believe that Jesus Christ was a man. I believe that he, you know, walked the earth. You know, whether he was God's son or not, I'm not sure. I believe that he's a man that had achieved hypostatic union, that he really truly was a being, as I believe many ascended masters were, that achieved divine and infinite divine and human potential, that really embraced, and what I mean by that is that he fully embraced his humanity and he fully embraced his divinity. And that there was some beautiful symmetry between those two things. And as a result of that, you know, he was able to inspire, he was able to guide, he was able to, you know, I don't believe he walked on water because he was God's son. I believe he walked on water because he had mastered his physical vessel and his divine nature, and that the combination of those two things allowed him to do things that, you know, other ordinary men have not been able to achieve yet, because they haven't achieved that state. So those are just my personal beliefs on it. And obviously the beauty of planet Earth is that we're all entitled to our own beliefs about those things. And, you know, so, you know, some of you know, some of you may not. Like, I'm a person who, for the last several years, has experienced waking state visions. I have had waking state visions of Jesus. I've had waking state visions of Mary Magdalene. And so I am a person who has a lot of faith and has a lot of belief in the otherworldly, in the paranormal, in something greater than us as beings on this planet. You know, I'm very connected to my star nations. And so, you know, I'm not a disbeliever, I guess I would say, but I also am a very rational minded and somewhat scientific brain. And I like things to make sense. And they don't always make sense, right? And so sometimes, you know, I am able to embrace things even if they don't, but my mind immediately usually always goes to that place of trying to make sense of things. And so when I see this, like, of course, I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Because all of a sudden we see this, you know, resurgence of people that are stepping into not just a return to God and Christ, or to Christ consciousness, or the energy of Christ, which I believe everyone on the planet actually could do with a little more embracing of the energy of Christ, especially with everything that's happening in the world right now. You know, I mean, I think that compassion for humanity is something that, you know, I think we all need to be focused on, and compassion for all of the beings on this planet. And that really, to me, is what Christ consciousness and the energy of Christ embodies. But you know, when I see this return to this very fundamentalist way of being, and in the embracing of, you know, what is being born again for some people, it's the thing that concerns me is the denouncement of everything that's not that. And the, you know, the real, it's about energetic charge, I guess, is an easier way for me to say this. Like, for me, like, when people are like, you know, I want to worship XYZ, whatever it is, right? Like, whatever the religion is, whether that's monotheistic or polytheistic, or whatever the entity is, or the deity, or whatever the case may be. You know, one of the beautiful things I believe about humanity is our diversity, and our diversity in our worship as well, and in our spiritual beliefs, and in our consciousness. Like, that is what makes this planet beautiful. Obviously, more wars have been fought over religion, and more people have died on this planet over religion and religious beliefs than anything else. Any plague, any natural disaster, like, you know, the fundamentalist religious wars and genocide that have existed and continue to exist on this planet have killed far more people than probably all those things put together. And so it is a place, you know, it is a weakness of humanity that we allow ourselves to be so energetically charged around others' belief systems. And for me, what it feels the opposite of what I believe we're actually here on this planet to do. So I truly believe that we are divine immortal beings, that we're divine immortal beings of light, and that, you know, we come to this planet from a place that is far more ascended than we are here, and that the wisdom and knowledge that we have as those beings far exceeds the wisdom and knowledge that we have as we exist on this plane and on this planet. But I do believe that we came here to this planet because it is a 3D reality. I believe that we came here because we wanted to have an experience of duality, that we wanted to experience all of the beauty of this planet, much of which has to do with polarity and diversity and the difference and differences, right? We're all different. That's the beauty of this 3D existence, that we came here to experience duality, that we didn't come here to all be the same. We didn't come here to experience sameness. But many of us fall into that trap of, if it's not same or similar, it's wrong. And that's, that's the thing that makes me nervous about some of this stuff that I'm seeing. It is the renouncement of everything that is not born again fundamentalism. I could care less if you found Jesus and that is the path for you, and it is helping you tap into your divine immortal soul, and it is helping you have an experience of enlightenment, or helping you on your path towards ascension, or is part of your journey on this planet. That's amazing. And I'm so happy for anyone who, dives into their spiritual journey head on and tries different things on for size and sees what fits. For me with my clients, I'm always about take what serves you, leave the rest. If there's something that resonates with you, if there's something that feels, really powerful for you, amazing. And if there's something where you're she's full of shit and that's crazy, then leave that, right? And don't take that on board. It makes me nervous when I see this so much energetic charge around what people believe is not right. So instead of focusing on, this is this path that I'm on, and this is how that's feeling for me, and this is why I'm excited about it, and this is how it's uplifting me, and even if people are wanting to share, and this is why I'm sharing it, because perhaps there's something in this message for you that can uplift you. That's one thing. But this negative energetic charge around anything that is not, and the renouncing and the shaming of those that continue to desire to participate in alternate spiritual practices or spirituality, that to me is where we hit the danger zone. And it is the place where I from a scientific perspective, from a theory and philosophy perspective, especially as I continue my journey in 5-element theory, I can look and be wow, there's massive elemental imbalances happening there when we're not embracing ourselves as, from a holistic perspective, when we're not embracing ourselves as elemental beings, when our fire element is out of whack and we don't truly know ourselves, when we're not looking at cultivating our true path and not focused on cultivating our true path, when we're not able to really tap into our intuition and live in the preciousness of the moment, when we're having difficulty returning to origin, who we actually are and who we came here to be, when we're having difficulty even knowing that true path, that's when I'm able to look and say, something's not right there. When we are projecting negativity out and onto others, we're not in a place of neutrality, which means we're not in a state of wholeness, and we're not in a state of balance. And it worries me that we have, people who have been guiding and leading large groups of people on spiritual paths and in spiritual journeys that are now coming in and renouncing all of the work that they've done in the world, especially when it's been work that has really, really positively impacted many people. That's worrisome to me. And the thing I guess that I can relate it to is that, the most recent thing that I saw that was as alarming to me as what I'm seeing right now was when Doreen Virtue renounced all of her work, right? Became born again, found Christ, and then was everything I've done up until this point was all the devil, was all lies, was all misguided. And you have, tens of thousands of people who have purchased her cards, but also had done her courses, and been certified in the work that she had done. And we're seeing that right now in the online space as well. People, who have provided certifications for people who have, really impacted people's lives in a really tremendous way in their spiritual journeys, and their, helped them shape their path and their road, that are now renouncing all of that. And not only renouncing it, but shaming the people that are still participating in it. And that, to me, feels very dangerous. And so, I definitely just want to say, if, there's anyone out there that is experiencing this and has worked with those leaders, and you're feeling lost, or you're feeling confused, or you're doubting your personal journey, like, I'm here and happy to support in any way that I can. Even if that's just having, a brief conversation. Because I feel like what's happening is, with these leaders kind of taking these positions, it's leaving a lot of people confused. It's leaving a lot of people feeling lost, which is then perpetuating the kind of global chaos that we're experiencing right now. And I think that, humanity needs to focus on less chaos, and more kind of grounding into who we are, and who we're here to be, and what we're meant to be, and what we're meant to be sharing in the world. So that's just kind of my thoughts on that. I love the work that I do, and I'm so grateful for Dane Thomas, and, the work that he has exposed me to, and, being able to go through the spiral with him, and then becoming a spiral practitioner, and then an advanced spiral practitioner, and really being exposed to emotional clearing, and, being given that incredible tool to bring myself back into states of energetic neutrality. It's just, it is completely mind-blowing to me, the spiritual technology and tools that we've been given in this lifetime to be able to do that. And obviously we're all having our own process, and we're all having our own journey, and that's the beauty of this life. That's what we came here to do. But I believe that we can't fully experience that which we came here to experience if we're doing it from these states of energetic charge. So, and that includes being too positively charged towards something. So when we're too positively charged towards something, we're biased. When we're too negatively charged towards something, we're biased. It is only in states of neutrality that we're actually able to see clearly, and we're able to take those lenses of bias off. And so, an emotional clearing to me is the beauty of emotional clearing is that it enables us to step into states of neutrality, and therefore, be able to remove bias lenses, and actually be able to see through lenses that are expansive and that give us different views and different perspectives. So yeah, and I'm so excited about all of the stuff that's happening in the Leah Steele brand right now, and the collaborations and the partnerships. We're getting ready to start round 3 of Becoming Immortal, which is our 6-month deep dive journey through the elements, and with a real focus on constitutional factor, helping people come back into elemental balance in their life and into wholeness. I'm really excited about that. That starts tomorrow. We're midway into our event, The Frequency of Immortality. We still have 2 of those sessions to be done. Those are coming up this week, so stay tuned for those. And and then I'm launching right now my next wealth repatterning program, Alchemical Wealth, that I am over the moon about. It is a journey through the elements, alchemizing the elements from a place of money, wealth, and currency, really allowing us to step into those true states of neutrality around money, wealth, and currency, so that we can step into exponential growth when it comes to our finances, but also wealth in all other areas of our lives. And I'm super excited because last night, as I was going to bed, I was like, okay, look, I need to offer a VIP option for Alchemical Wealth. It is going to be a group clearing process, Alchemical Wealth, which I'm really excited about. It's going to be very, very supportive of growth and expansion, because I'm not only doing it by myself, but I have two of my incredible apprentices, practitioners actually, two of my incredible wealth practitioners, wealth alchemy practitioners that are joining me in facilitating the container. But I am opening up 5 spots to be part of this container, but to do your one-on-one clears, to do the clears in a one-on-one way with me instead of in the group container. So instead of group clearing, it's an ability to do these Alchemical Wealth clears with me one-on-one, but just 5 spots. So that's all I've got bandwidth and capacity for right now. I will eventually be offering this as part of my holistic wealth strategy packages that I'll be doing with clients, and those range from $11,000 to $22,000. But this is an opportunity to come and take advantage of this at a really, really reduced rate, because I'm bringing a case study group together so that I can really study and hone in on what this process is looking like for people, and how quickly they can move through the clears and how quickly they can integrate and what level of support they're going to need as we move out to doing this work in a much more public way in the world. So this is like this initial case study group. So you can do this program with me. It's a 14-week program for $2,222. If you want one-on-one clears with me, you can do that for $5,555. So if you have already signed up for Alchemical Wealth, but you're like, oh my gosh, I want the one-on-one clears, definitely reach out to me straight away. I know that these will go really quickly. I don't really take people through these, like I don't take people through the spiral anymore. I don't really take people through, I only take my practitioners through the Philosopher's Stone. Like I'm not out in the public world doing these, taking people through one-on-one processes. So this is a pretty unique opportunity and experience to go through this incredible, radically life transformative process. So yeah, so hit me up if you want information on that. I will drop the link to Alchemical Wealth. It's in the bio and it's in my story. Here we go. If you're on Instagram, you can get the link to Alchemical Wealth. If you know you want in on the one-on-one clears with me, just private message me, DM me. And if you, but you can click the lead page, find out more about 14-week process. And then if you want in on the one-on-one bit, then send me a message directly. And yeah, I think that, you know, for me, message of this live stream is just, you know, allow yourself to have your life experience and really look closely at how you're judging others' experience. And remember that we're here to experience duality. We're here to experience it all. And we have such a more powerful experience of that when we do that from a state of neutrality instead of from, you know, this rigid place of it's my way or the highway. It's my way, my way's right, your way's wrong. You know, we can all tap into a little bit of our inner Gemini and be able to see things from both perspectives. And we do that through, you know, practicing coming back into states of neutrality. Just happens to be that I love a life hack, and emotional clearing is, you know, the life hack for me to bring me quickly and back into states of neutrality. That's why I love it so much. That's why I do the work in the world that I do. So that's it. That's all I have for you today. Have an amazing rest of your day, morning, evening, wherever you are in the world as you are watching this live stream or you're catching the replay. Remember, it's your divine birthright to be wealthy in all areas of your life. And you're so worthy and you are so deserving. Mwah. Farewell.